What's up, y'all? Naturegirl 30 here, and it is that time of year again. A big 4 pay-per-view, so I had to break out the big hair. But other than that, guys, it is SummerSlam time. And yes, this SummerSlam is going to be a doozy. It's not as long as WrestleMania 32, but it's long. 5 hours to be exact. For some strange reason, this SummerSlam is being treated like WrestleMania, and I don't really know why, but it is. It's actually going to start at 5 p.m. Eastern Time and 2 p.m. Pacific Time for the kickoff. And it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time for the actual show. We have a total of 11 matches on the card, 6 championship matches, and 5 standalones, including the kickoff. That is a lot. Huge, huge card for SummerSlam, that is. But let's get started with we have 2 kickoff matches, possibly 3, but I think we're gonna have 2 for now. Now there is a rumor that the IC title match might just be on the kickoff show, so I'm gonna kind of treat it like it's gonna be on the kickoff show, because let's be honest, the opponents are they have the kickoff feel. Sorry, Miz, but you kind of do. Maurice can't help you with that. But other than that, let's start off with the first kickoff match. Best in 7 series opener with Cesaro versus Sheamus. Now, here's my overall theory with this. We've already seen 3 matches with Sheamus versus Cesaro. If those 3 matches actually do count, that means we have 5 matches left. And if that's the case, I'm cool with that. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think they probably started over from scratch, and it's going to be 0-0. Yeah. Best in 7 of the same guys over and over again, even though they each proved each other who's better than what and all that stuff. Before I was excited about this, and then I was thinking, okay, best in 7, but then I'm thinking, wait, we've seen this 3 times before. But other than that, guys, I really do want Sheamus to win the first one, because that means if he wins the first one, he won't win it overall. Sheamus has had his run. He's had his amazing run. He was champion the first time he got there. But Cesaro don't have much. And honestly, I want Cesaro to be the winner here. It's time to push Cesaro. The guy is amazing. You know he's amazing. They need to do something with him. There was a huge rumor that he was going to be going to SmackDown, as well as Kevin Owens going to SmackDown. But maybe that fell through. They're going to hold off a little bit more. I don't know. But other than that, I really do want Sheamus to win here. Seriously. I really, really do. Because Cesaro needs to be pushed. And they need to start thinking of future stars, because the older stars, not only are they getting older, it's really, really taking a toll on their bodies, and they're starting to back out, just as Cena and Randy. But other than that, my vote goes to Sheamus for the win. Now let's talk about 2 potential kickoff matches, and I'm going to go for the ladies first. Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi versus Natalya and Alexa Bliss. We all know what happened to Eva Marie, and I've already done a video on it, so I'm not going to go too much into that. So it's going to be maybe a 3-on-2. Instead of a 6-woman, it's more of a 5. So they didn't really change that. I don't know why. But or unless they're going to have somebody come out and take Eva Marie's place. I don't know. That anything could happen at SummerSlam. But at this point, Natalya and Alexa Bliss are just going to be fighting by themselves. But if I know Alexa Bliss, that chick is clever. So I wouldn't be surprised if somehow we get somebody coming up from NXT. No, wait, they already took most of the people from NXT. I don't know. But my overall prediction for this match is this. We're going to see somebody being the 6th person to take over for Eva Marie. Now that Eva Marie is going to start her suspension now, I think that somebody is going to take her place. That's just me. That's my overall theory in this. And somehow we might get a surprise win from Natalya and Alexa Bliss. This is just me thinking here. I could be completely wrong. It might be just a slaughterhouse with the faces taking the win. But if I know a good heel will have a surprise card in their back pocket, like something just to throw out there and just whip it out like, hey, I got myself a trump card. No pun intended. But I really do think that the heels are going to somehow dominate the faces, because they're going to have a surprise opponent coming out. It could be. That's just me. That's my overall thoughts. But for right now, I guess I need to be realistic here. It looks like it could be the faces. But my vote goes to the heels. I know I'm wrong. I could be wrong here, but this is just something I am thinking. If they are clever heels, they will have something in their back pocket to throw out. So I really do believe that the heels might win here, because they can't be that stupid. They really can't be that stupid. But let's move on to another match that could be on the kickoff show. And this is the IC Championship match with The Miz versus Apollo Crews. I care about neither one of these guys. And that's a shame. The Miz is very entertaining. I'm not going to deny that. But here's the reason. It's Maurice. Maurice is making him look good, but The Miz can't make himself look good without her. That's not good. You're the champion. Even if you do have arm candy, the arm candy is arm candy. You are the champion. You need to make that belt worth something, and The Miz has done nothing with that belt. The sad thing is The Miz can never get over on his own. He's always as good as the person on his arm. The same thing with Lay Cool. And when Michelle McCool left and it was just Layla. Layla couldn't get over by herself. He's in the same boat she was in. He can't get over without Maurice. So he doesn't really have a lot of worth, in my opinion. He's entertaining, but I don't see him as a good heel champion, because she's the one that's doing all the work. But moving on to Apollo Crews, he's the most vanilla black man I have ever seen in my life. There is nothing interesting about this guy. He is boring. He is bland. He is green. But despite his wrestling skills are improving. They are. Especially on the main card. He was great on NXT, but he didn't talk much. Now he's doing a lot more talking. He doesn't know his personality yet, and he's trying to make that discovery, and unfortunately he's doing it while he's on the air. So maybe I could take off a little bit and maybe not be so hard on him because of that. But he still lacks personality. Even with that smile is empty. There's nothing there. I really do see Apollo Crews more as a heel than a babyface. Because maybe he can have more personality being mean than he can being nice. But other than that, I could care less who wins, because they don't bring anything to the belt. Neither one of them do. I mean, The Miz can't bring anything to the belt without Maurice, and Apollo has no personality to bring anything to anything. That's like literally, I mean, gosh, he's like a piece of saran wrap. You can see straight through him. And that's sad. It really is. Neither one of them will benefit the belt, but if I had to pick somebody, I gotta go for The Miz. The Miz has way more personality than Apollo Crews could ever have. And Apollo Crews need to be built up a little bit more for the fans to care about him. So my vote goes to The Miz for the win. As much as I don't like The Miz that much, I am a fan of I am a fan of his heel work. So honestly, Miz for the win. Alright, let's move on to some of the standalone matches, and then I will go into the actual championship matches. Now, the first standalone match I'm going to talk about is a tag team match between Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Jericho. I guess is what you call him. But other than that, you got Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens versus Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Oh, gosh. I want Jericho to leave so much. I'm just waiting for his retirement day, because I'm so tired of seeing Chris Jericho on my screen. Yes, he's had his great run on the mic, but he's running out of material. You can tell. He's running out of material. He's trying to get as much time as he can. He doesn't want to put anybody over now because he's tired of putting people over. But he's had his run. It's time for him to go. Unfortunately, most of his great moments are practically forgettable. And they're forgettable for other reasons. And that's a shame. I guess he wants to have something memorable that in his career that people can actually say, hey, he did that. But he hasn't really had many. But he is bringing Kevin Owens down. Kevin Owens is one of the top heels in the company, next to Bray Wyatt, in my opinion. And he should have been in a title hunt by now, by himself, in a singles run. Now that we have the whole Sami Zayn thing squashed and them going their separate ways, Kevin Owens should be going to the moon. Not being teamed up with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho don't need anybody. And that's the sad part. The guy's a veteran. He doesn't need to be there. His only purpose there is to be a mentor and put people over. That's it. But Jericho has had far too much time in the limelight, and it's time for him to disappear because he's bringing Kevin Owens down. So I'm hoping that they lose and they break up. So my vote goes to Enzo Amore and Big Cass, because they're way over than those two. And in the babyface wise. But Kevin Owens is far over as a heel. So in my opinion, I hope that Enzo and Big Cass wins and Kevin Owens breaks off for Chris Jericho and moves on his merry way. Now, let's talk about the other match that, in my opinion, is going to be an amazing match to watch. John Cena versus AJ Styles, the fight for the franchise. This is something on WWE.com, y'all. The fight for the franchise, which is interesting. Because in my opinion, I really do see this as foreshadowing. I see that title as foreshadowing. Not to mention a huge rumor that John Cena is going to be taking a 2-month break. Probably doing some promotions and other commercials and stuff for WWE for a month. And then he's going to take an entire month off. So, it doesn't make any sense for John Cena to win here. Especially if he's going to be gone right after SummerSlam. So, I really do see that AJ Styles is going to win here. And he's going to win big. And this is going to be a great win for him. Because he will no longer have the club to help him out. Even though even though the club is going to be on the same show that he's on at this point, they're both going to be a SummerSlam. I honestly do see that he's going to go over by himself here, and I hope that that's going to be the case. I really, really do, because AJ Styles needs a really momentous win in order to have that momentum going on for the new title. So I'm hoping that it's going to be AJ Styles for the win. That's what my vote is going to be. It's everything is circling around it. It just looks like it's going to be AJ Styles. So AJ Styles for the win. Moving on to the biggest standalone match of the night that's literally being booked as the main event. Well, in pretty much in the eyes of how it's being advertised. I don't know if it's going to be the main event. I hope it won't be. But Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, the Beast versus the Viper. This standalone match has been booked heavily marketing-wise as the possible main event. I don't know if it's going to be or not. Don't quote me on that. But I honestly do see that they might put it maybe in the middle. Just like how they would put the Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Like they put it in the middle for the last, I think it was for the last, was it Hell in a Cell? I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. But when they were in LA. So I really do see it in the middle of the card, not towards the end. But here's another thing about this match. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton is putting butts in seats. If they put it in the middle, they literally take a chance on possibly having thousands of people walk out the arena after this is over. And if they have it towards the end, they'll keep those butts in those seats because people be waiting for this match to happen. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's a lose-lose. They're either going to be eclipsing their new belt. Raw's going to either be eclipsing their new belt by having them not being in the main event. Or the WWE as a whole going to lose their money because if they have this in the middle of the match, you're going to have people leaving. But then you're going to be like, okay, well, yeah, they already took their money, so they're not going to really lose anything. But in a way, yeah, but it's going to be embarrassing to see a whole bunch of empty seats with all the cameras panning around the arena and a bunch of empty seats afterwards. So, I mean, I don't know. They're not going to really lose any money if people do walk out, but it's just going to be embarrassing to have the camera pan on that and see all those empty seats. But other than that, let's talk about Brock and Randy. I really do see Brock winning here. I'm a huge mark for Brock Lesnar and for Nature Boy Ric Flair. Those are the only two men I'll mark out for. But Brock Lesnar is a beast that shows he's a beast, and he has been dominant for a long time. Randy Orton's career stopped when he got injured. And in my opinion, I don't think it was just a shoulder injury. I'm not really sure what it was. I think Randy Orton just didn't want to come back. That's my opinion. If it was just a shoulder thing, it would have been maybe 4 to 6 months. He's been out for longer than that. People say, oh, 9 months. People say 8 months. Here's my opinion. I think he was out for nearly a year. I feel he was out for nearly a year. And they're not really telling you the exact amount. But I think it was nearly a year. Randy Orton is not as spry as he used to be. Brock Lesnar has been consistently training, not only in MMA, but he's been training in wrestling for a long time. He's never stopped. He's been training. He's been conditioning himself. You can't say the same about Randy. You can't. Because Randy hasn't been in a lot of matches. So, I don't see this happening. But we know that Randy Orton has a very bad temper and a huge ego. He does not want anybody to go over on him. Like, ever. But it's freaking Brock Lesnar. If you're in the ring with Brock Lesnar, he's going to make you look good regardless of what you do. So even if Randy loses here, he's going to go up against the freaking beast. So, honestly, it's not going to be that bad of a loss. I'd rather have Brock win, and my vote actually does go to Brock. But let's be honest with you. I think this is Randy's last match. Randy has been holding out for a very long time, and I think he's going to pull a Cena. Except for Cena's going to come slowly bow out. I think Randy's just going to cut loose. Because we know that Randy's a part-timer. He does not have to actually be at all these events all the time. But he's going to be in something leading on up to a Big 4 pay-per-view. But I do not see him going towards WrestleMania. I think he's going to bow out before then. And I think this is going to be his last. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. And if it's not his last, he's going to slowly bow out. I don't think it's going to be... I don't really see him being in any more matches after WrestleMania. If that's the case. But let's move on. Brock Lesnar for the win. Now, let's go on to the actual championship matches. This is a lot of matches on the card. I'm going to try to cut through them as much as I can. Okay. Championship match, the tag team matches. The New Day versus Anderson and Gallows. Okay. The New Day don't need the belts anymore. They are completely over with the crowd. They have done nothing for those belts. It doesn't make any sense for them to be champion anymore. And I do not at all like Anderson and Gallows' ball gimmick. It was funny at first, but it needs to go. But unfortunately, it's their gimmick now. Oi. But other than that, Anderson and Gallows need to look like a very tough tag team. They need to be champion. They need to look dominant. And if Big E is not there, then it's going to be a really good advantage for them. Because it'll be a one-on-one match. Well, technically tag team terms, 2-on-2. And it won't be the whole Freebird rule anymore. Because I'm tired of the Freebird rule. I want that to be gone too. But I'm hoping that Big E stays gone. But knowing Big E is going to wall himself all the way down. I guess maybe, I don't know if his ball is going to still be hurting. But other than that, he's going to waddle all the way down and try to help the New Day win. But honestly, I want Anderson and Gallows to win here. I do. They need the belts more than New Day does. New Day's already broke the record. They don't need it anymore. I actually see them dropping it on Sunday night. So my vote goes to Anderson and Gallows for the win. Gosh, I don't really know anything about scrotum anatomy, but I never really knew exactly how long it would take if you actually injured your balls. How long it would take for it to heal. I didn't know it would take this long. But other than that, I'm going to get into something else. Let's talk about the women's title. In my opinion, it's going to be one of the matches of the night. There's going to be at least 3 wonderful main event awesomeness matches of the night. I know that makes no sense, but I'm just saying. But this is probably going to be one of the best matches of the night. The women's title, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. I love some Charlotte, but there's a lot of rumors that Charlotte is going to be taking a break after this. So it makes no sense for her to win. And then you also don't have Dana Brooke out there helping her out. She's actually got banned from ringside. So, and people are going to be mondo pissed if Sasha Banks loses because she has not had the belt for that long. So honestly, I'm not going to say it's a lose-lose here, but it could be a lose-win. If Sasha Banks actually does keep the title, that means it opens up the fact that Nia Jax could be the monster opponent for her. Now, Nia Jax has not had a lot of good training. She is pretty green, but her match versus Asuka alone impressed me. It showed how much she has improved over the years, and regardless of her size, that chick can go. Now, in my opinion, we do need to have a monster heel. We do need to have a Goliath in the WWE women's locker room. Or division. More so division in the locker room. But yeah, we need to have a Goliath in the WWE women's division. And we do with Nia Jax. Nia Jax needs to be the one to actually go up against Sasha Banks and take the belt off Sasha Banks, to have Sasha Banks fight her back to take the belt off of her. That's what we need. We need a monster heel. We need a Davida versus a Goliath type of match. And Nia Jax needs to be the one chosen. So my vote goes to Sasha Banks, and I believe that if that happens, then that's going to lead to Nia Jax being the person to actually call her out. So let's go into the U.S. Championship match. Rusev versus Roman Reigns. This match has actually been more advertised more than the Universal title, which I could, oh boy. But I'm not getting into that. I've already made a video about that. But let's move on from there. I want Rusev to win. Rusev has been an amazing, dominant heel champion. Especially with the whole Lana thing, in my opinion, it's kind of starting to dumb it down a little bit. But Rusev is still a very dominant champion. He is a very dominant monster. And I do want him to actually keep the belt. Roman Reigns, I want him to succeed. I want him to be a great champion, and he can be. They just pushed him too early. They need to have him start down and work his way up. Yeah, they're like, well, we're just going to put him in the U.S. title, and if he wins, then people are going to like him. No, you got to have the guy fight for something first. He just got a wellness policy. He just got disgraced. Have him work up to that point. And then from there, go to the IC belt. And then from there, go to the other championship. Don't have him be champion now. I want Roman Reigns to have people like him. I do. But you got to start down. These are blue-collar people that are looking at these matches every night. Majority of the people in the audience are probably blue-collar workers. So they want to see people like them. And if the only way that can happen is if he starts off low and works his way up. That's what they got to do. My vote goes to Rusev for the win, and I'm hoping they do that. Because if they have Roman win, it's going to mess him up. It really is. And I don't want that to happen to him. But let's move on to two of the main events, possible main events of the night. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship, well, the WWE World Champion, Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler in the WWE World Championship match. Okay. This can go either way, man. It really can. And this is going to be a very emotional, very hard-hitting, very insane match. Because Dean Ambrose is going to give everything to him. Now, like in the Stone Cold podcast, Dean Ambrose has done everything he could to make that Ambrose Asylum match the best it can be, but he couldn't because they didn't really want to go that far. And also the same thing with WrestleMania with him versus Brock Lesnar. When Brock Lesnar didn't want to do anything according to him. I do believe that Dolph Ziggler is going to want to do anything and everything he can do to make this possibly the best main event you can see. So he'll have a lot to work with, and he'll have somebody that wants to work with him. So I think it's going to be a tremendous match. A lot of emotion is going to go into this. Dolph Ziggler does want it more because Dolph Ziggler, even though he has had he's had the World Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, he only won that twice. I'm not sure if he got any other belt besides that, but if he has, by all means, leave it in the comments. But as for the major belts, that's the only belt he's ever gotten. But they both have two major belts between them. But honestly, Dean's going to give him 100%. But the person that wants it more is Dolph. And if either or wins, I'm still okay with it. I think that Dolph does need to have a little bit of time to shine because he's never had it in a very long time. He's the type of guy that will get in your face and will consistently keep working no matter what he would do. And honestly, I'll be fine if he takes the belt off Dean. But it'll be sad, though, because Dean is actually the funnest champion I have ever seen in a very long time. He is fun and very entertaining. I don't know what Dolph's going to bring to the table, but I guess in a way I'm kind of okay if he wins here. So I guess I have to say that if Dean loses against Dolph, I'm alright with it. So I guess I have to say my vote goes to Dolph Ziggler for the win. Yeah, and if he does win here, I'm okay with it because it's going to be one amazing match. Alright, moving on to the Raw main event of the night. Hopefully it'll be a main event of the night. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins to be crowned the first WWE Universal Champion. Finn needs this more than Seth. Seth has had his moments in the sun. Seth has had his historical moments. He has been a WWE World Heavyweight Champion for a long time. Finn Balor has been booked to be the hottest thing going. He was the #1 draft pick of Raw. They made a huge deal about the Demon King. If he literally loses against Seth Rollins, it's going to demote Finn Balor to the mid-card. And it's going to make his Demon King gimmick less serious. You got to understand, not everybody watches NXT. Not everybody knows anything about Finn Balor. Only a handful of people, in my opinion, and maybe a few thousand, few million. I don't know the exact numbers. But I do know that not everybody watches NXT. So not everybody knows that much about the Demon King. And that's probably why they showed him on Raw. Even though I don't agree with it. But other than that, he needs to win. He needs to win here. They made the Demon King a big deal. They need to make it a big deal. And he needs a win. So my vote goes to Finn Balor for the win to be the first ever WWE Universal Champion. Alright guys, those are my predictions. Those are my overall thoughts. What are your predictions for SummerSlam? Leave it in the comment section below. I will I will do a review and I will post a review right after SummerSlam is over. Alright guys, I am done here and I am out. Naturegirl 30, I'm done. Peace out.